The cost reduction is likely to happen at a much higher level of the content production, and an entire pipeline of the process can be eliminated by a few prompting works if the text-to-video technology becomes mainstream. Highly experienced 3D animators can be easier to replace with AI video generators than field crews such as audio engineers and lighting experts. However, if the entire production pipeline is streamlined by prompting, it could lead to widespread job losses in the market. How would you address such a threat?
Addressing the potential threat of job displacement resulting from the widespread adoption of text-to-video technology requires a multifaceted approach that considers the broader implications for the job market and society as a whole. Here are some strategies to mitigate the impact of job loss in the content production industry. Investment in reskilling and retraining. Governments, educational institutions, and industry stakeholders can invest in programs to reskill and retrain workers whose jobs are at risk of automation. Providing opportunities for affected workers to acquire new skills, such as digital literacy, data analysis, or creative storytelling, can help them transition to new roles in emerging fields or industries. Support for entrepreneurship and small businesses. Encouraging entrepreneurship and supporting small businesses in the content production ecosystem can create new opportunities for job creation and innovation. Initiatives such as grants, loans, and mentorship programs can help aspiring entrepreneurs launch their own ventures and contribute to the growth of the creative economy. Promotion of creativity and artistic expression. While text-to-video technology may automate certain aspects of content production, there will always be a demand for human creativity, artistic expression, and storytelling. Emphasizing the value of human creativity and supporting artistic endeavors can help preserve the role of content creators and foster a vibrant cultural landscape. Diversification of skills and specializations. Encouraging workers to diversify their skills and specializations can make them more resilient to changes in the job market. For example, 3D animators could expand their expertise to include skills in digital sculpting, character design, or virtual reality content creation, allowing them to adapt to evolving technologies and industry trends. Policy interventions. Policymakers can implement policies to mitigate the impact of job displacement, such as unemployment insurance, job retraining programs, and labor market regulations. Additionally, exploring innovative policy solutions, such as universal basic income or job guarantee programs, may provide a safety net for workers in industries undergoing significant technological disruption. Ethical considerations and human-centric design. As technology continues to advance, it's essential to prioritize ethical considerations and human-centric design principles. Ensuring that technological innovations are developed and deployed in ways that prioritize human well-being, dignity, and empowerment can help mitigate the negative consequences of job displacement and promote inclusive economic growth. By adopting a proactive and holistic approach that combines investment in human capital, support for entrepreneurship and creativity, and thoughtful policy interventions, society can better navigate the challenges and opportunities presented by technological disruption in the content production industry.
I would relate the mass job displacement threat to the limitation on the physical resources and energy supply in the real world. In contrast to common expectations, high-end jobs may be at a greater risk of replacement because they are typically the most highly paid and the most economically effective and efficient to replace. On the contrary, the mass replacement of the entire content industry would confront another level of real-life challenges, such as the collective computational resources and the global power supply.
In the face of technological advancements like text-to-video technology, the risk of mass job displacement looms large, particularly for top-end positions in the content production industry. These highly paid roles are often the most efficient targets for replacement from an economic standpoint. However, the prospect of widespread automation poses significant challenges beyond just economic efficiency. One critical limitation is the constraint on physical resources and energy supply in the real world. While replacing top-end jobs may offer immediate cost savings, the mass replacement of the entire content production pipeline could strain computational resources and global power supply. The computational demands of text-to-video technology, coupled with the exponential growth in digital content consumption, could quickly overwhelm existing infrastructure and lead to bottlenecks in processing power and energy consumption. Moreover, the rush to automate may overlook the intrinsic value of human creativity and expertise in content creation. While AI-driven technologies can replicate certain aspects of production, they often lack the nuanced understanding, emotional intelligence, and artistic vision that human creators bring to their work. The resulting content may lack authenticity and resonance with audiences, ultimately diminishing its value and impact. In navigating the transition to automated content production, it's crucial to strike a balance between efficiency and sustainability. Rather than solely focusing on short-term cost savings, stakeholders must consider the long-term implications for resource utilization, environmental sustainability, and societal well-being. Investing in renewable energy sources, optimizing algorithms for energy efficiency, and promoting responsible consumption and production practices can help mitigate the environmental footprint of automated content production. Furthermore, efforts to preserve and cultivate human creativity and expertise are essential for ensuring the continued vibrancy and diversity of the content production industry. Embracing a human-centric approach to technology development and deployment can help harness the potential of automation while safeguarding the unique contributions of human creators. Ultimately, addressing the challenges of mass job displacement and resource constraints requires a holistic and collaborative approach, involving policymakers, industry leaders, technologists, and civil society. By prioritizing sustainability, equity, and human flourishing, we can harness the power of technology to create a more inclusive and resilient future for all.
What were the limiting factors in automation in the industrialization era when the Luddite movement broke out? I mean, the capitalists wanted more profit and tried to replace as many workers as possible with machines. But it would have been nearly impossible to replace all of them, simply because it would eventually drive the cost of automation to skyward, wouldn't it?
Yes, during the early industrialization era, similar challenges arose as advancements in machinery and automation threatened to displace workers and disrupt traditional modes of production. The Luddite movement, which emerged in England in the early 19th century, was a response to these challenges. The Luddites were skilled textile workers who protested against the introduction of labor-saving machinery, particularly the stocking frames and power looms used in the textile industry. They feared that these machines would render their skills obsolete and lead to widespread unemployment and poverty. One of the key challenges faced by capitalists in the early industrialization era was the balance between maximizing profits through automation and managing the costs and limitations of machinery. While automation offered the potential for increased efficiency and productivity, it also required significant investments in machinery, infrastructure, and skilled labor to operate and maintain. Additionally, the rapid pace of technological change and the high cost of early industrial machinery meant that widespread automation was often financially prohibitive for many industries. As a result, the process of industrialization was uneven, with some sectors adopting automation more rapidly than others. Furthermore, the resistance of workers, including the Luddite movement, highlighted the social and economic consequences of automation, including job displacement, wage stagnation, and working conditions. These concerns prompted policymakers and industrialists to consider the broader implications of automation and implement measures to address social unrest and mitigate the negative impacts on workers. Overall, while automation offered the potential for increased efficiency and profits, it also presented significant challenges and limitations, including the cost of machinery, resistance from workers, and the social and economic consequences of job displacement. These challenges shaped the trajectory of industrialization and prompted ongoing debates about the relationship between technology, labor, and society. Similarly, in the modern era, discussions about automation and job displacement continue to raise complex questions about economic efficiency, social equity, and human well-being.
But the true threat to workers wasn't really about whether they would be entirely replaced, as the cost of replacing all workers with machines would increase exponentially, and the cost of building machines would skyrocket with more replacement demands. I would argue that what workers actually stood up against was the fact that the initial small portion of automation disrupted their income stability considerably. The first few workers who were laid off needed to seek new jobs, which brought labor pay down significantly.
Yes, your point makes sense. While the fear of complete job replacement by machines was certainly a concern for workers during the early industrialization era, the immediate threat they faced was often more about the disruption of their livelihoods and the downward pressure on wages caused by the introduction of automation. When a portion of workers were replaced by machines, either partially or entirely, it often led to an oversupply of labor in the market. This surplus of labor meant that workers who were displaced from their jobs needed to compete for a limited number of available positions, driving down wages and worsening working conditions. Additionally, the introduction of machinery could alter the skill requirements for certain jobs, further exacerbating the challenges faced by workers who were displaced or forced to adapt to new roles. Furthermore, the process of industrialization and automation was often driven by capitalist interests seeking to maximize profits through increased efficiency and productivity. This profit motive could lead to decisions that prioritized cost-cutting measures, such as replacing workers with machines, without sufficient consideration for the broader social and economic impacts on workers and communities. In this context, workers' resistance to automation was not just about the fear of being replaced by machines, but also about defending their livelihoods, asserting their rights as laborers, and challenging the unequal distribution of wealth and power in industrial society. The Luddite movement and other forms of labor activism during the early industrialization era were responses to these economic and social injustices, as workers sought to protect their wages, working conditions, and dignity in the face of technological change.